Welcome to Unit 3, Culture, Chapter 3 in your textbook. So what will I learn in this video? Part 1, Understanding Culture. This video is about 20 minutes long. You will learn to define culture and examine different features, analyze the influence of cultural values, symbols, language, beliefs, norms, and traditions. And in the second video, Elements of Culture, also about 20 minutes long, you will learn about subcultures and countercultures, ethnocentrism and cultural relativism, as well as multiculturalism. So, what is culture? Culture is the sum total of the social environment in which we are raised and continue to be socialized in throughout our lives. It's everything around us. It's a shared set of values, beliefs, rules, behavior, objects, and language. Culture is learned. It is not innate. It is passed on from one generation to the next. You learn it through your family. Socially transmitted and reinforced through your friends. And used by people to make sense of the world. In the PowerPoint, click on this video. What is culture? Universal and personal. Culture is all-inclusive. It's everything around us. It's our language, whether you speak one language, two languages. It's our traditions. It's what we do every year at the same time. It's things that we do that are a pattern. It's art, whatever form that art takes. It's norms. What is normal to you? What do you do in your everyday life? And it's your values. What is at your core? For example, with art, some types of art are more valued in society than others. Graffiti art is a part of culture. It's often not as appreciated or valued as much as other artistic expressions. When a baby is born, there's a whole world ahead. So with the Human Genome Project, which is made up, you get handed your baby. Congratulations, it's a boy. He'll be good at calculus and volleyball, get acne, become a mechanical engineer, be prone to mood swings, marry twice, have 3 kids, and die of heart disease when he's 74. Congratulations. Inside of all that is all of the culture that makes up that person and makes up who you are. Think about an onion as a metaphor for culture. So with an onion, we have the inner core, which is who you are, your values, your basic fundamental beliefs. Each layer of the onion represents stepping forward to something that you can see. So going from your basic core, your fundamental beliefs, your values, and your behavioral norms, your patterns of behavior or your artifacts. And artifacts are an item that is important to you. Another metaphor for culture is the iceberg. Maybe some of you have been to Iceberg Alley on the East Coast. With an iceberg, usually you can only see the top 25%, and 75% is underwater. If we use this as an analogy for culture, material culture is what's visible. It's the top 25%. The physical artifacts and objects found in your culture is the tangible part of your culture that you can see, hear, taste, touch. Then we have the non-material culture, and that's the 75% that's invisible. The intangible and abstract components of culture include symbolic culture, your values, norms, sanctions, your beliefs. These are aspects of culture that lack a physical presence and existence, and some examples include how you talk, song lyrics, forms of behavior. When we talk about material culture, actual things you can see, some famous landmarks you may recognize: the CN Tower. Perhaps some of you have been here. Perhaps some of you live here. The East Coast, Iceberg Alley, the Rocky Mountains. Those is material culture. Aurora Borealis or the Northern Lights. Perhaps some of you recognize or have been to some of these places. These are famous landmarks. When we see these pictures, we instantly think of that place. Other material cultures. For example, my car. And my other car that I keep in the garage just for the summer. Jewelry. Wedding dresses. Wedding dresses are an excellent example of material culture. Each wedding dress represents an important part of an individual's culture, yet they look very different. Food. What's your favorite food? Guinea pigs are pets in Canada. And yes, guinea pigs are food in the Andes. Perhaps you've tasted toasted ants or other chocolate-covered insects. In Cambodia, eating tarantulas is not uncommon, and there's a picture of Angelina Jolie having a bite of a tarantula. Spotted dick, also known as sponge pudding, and brains. Perhaps some of you like calamari. Or perhaps some of you like or have tried Tibetan butter tea. Music, instruments, material culture. So material culture is the physical artifacts and objects found in your culture, the tangible part of culture that you can see, hear, taste, and touch. The 75% non-material culture. The intangible and abstract components of culture including symbolic culture, values, norms, sanctions, and belief. So the non-material culture, the 75% that's hidden, we're going to talk about symbols. An object, image, or event used to meaningfully represent something. It's a shared sense of understanding. Meaning can vary across time, and meaning can vary across continents. Perhaps you recognize this symbol, or this one, or this one. Indigenous people and symbolism. Click on the eagle feather for more information on the symbolism of the eagle feather. When we look at the medicine wheel represents symbolism to Indigenous people, with the center of the medicine wheel representing the elements, wind, fire, earth, and water. And then we have the seasons, winter, spring, summer, and fall. Then we have the sacred medicines, tobacco, sweetgrass, sage, and cedar. Animals, the eagle, the wolf, the buffalo, and the bear. And people, the children, the youth, parents, and the elders. And the four directions, east, south, west, and north. Symbols have a shared understanding. It depends on the shared meaning of cultural customs and symbols for communicating. Shared symbols, shared understanding. Indigenous tattoos. Inuk women would receive tattoos to mark a milestone in their lives. They would receive these tattoos from needles made from bone, either with the hand poking or skin stitching techniques. They were a mark of a milestone, an arrival into womanhood, a preparedness to become a mother. Unfortunately, with the arrival of the missionaries in the continent's Arctic in the late 1800s, the tradition was stopped, and it was banned in the 20th century. You can click on this link in the PowerPoint to watch the video, The Ink Runs Deep. Symbols, we have shared symbols, numerical tattoos. I'm going to pause here for a moment and let you read through those. You can click on the picture in the PowerPoint to view this video on the interpretation of symbols. You may recognize the film. Here's a symbol that many of you, I'm sure, recognize. The swastika in Sanskrit was a sign of peace and continuity of life, and it dates back to 11,000 years ago. Hitler and the Nazis redesigned the swastika, spelled S-V-A-S-T-I-K-A, to mean something very, very different. Symbols' meanings can vary. White clothing for mourning or black clothing for mourning. What is your culture? Symbols, shared understanding language. Language is a system of symbols used for communication. Language is shaped by location and culture. Click on this video to watch why Indigenous languages matter and what we can do to save them. There's a hypothesis that says that language provides a way of thinking about the world. This way of thinking reflects cultural values. It influences the way we see the world. Language shape and reflect the realities of our cultures. Shared meaning varies across time. In Canada, this is the OK gesture. In other countries, it's something very offensive. Crossing your fingers in Canada means I hope, I hope, I hope, I hope, and it means something quite different in Vietnam. The inward-facing peace sign is the equivalent of giving the middle finger in the US or Canada. So if you live in the US, it is offensive in the UK, Ireland, Australia, and New Zealand. This is a rude way of beckoning someone. It's only used to call for dogs in the Philippines. Values. Beliefs about ideals, goals, and behavior that serve as standards for social life. So, to steal from a store, is it right or is it wrong? To lie, is it right or wrong? To be honest, is it right or wrong? Premeditated murder, is it right or wrong? Non-material culture norms. The rules and expectations by which a society guides the behavior of its members. The rules of behavior that tell you what is appropriate and what is inappropriate. Expectations of how we are supposed to act, think, and look that are maintained by sanctions. So non-material culture has norms. The unwritten and written. Formal or written down. Informal or unwritten. What we should and shouldn't do. Prescriptive is what we should do. Proscriptive is what we should not do. Mores are important, and folkways are not so important. So, for example, formal norms are written down and involve specific sanctions. Examples, the law. You break the law, you have a specific punishment like jail or a fine. Other examples are policy. You follow the policies, and you may be rewarded with a promotion or a bonus. Informal. Those are generally understood standards that people who share a common identity do. Is this a formal or informal norm? I would think it's probably formal. There are probably rules against falling asleep while you're working. Is this formal or informal? Are there rules saying you have to line up for coffee or for the bus? No, but it's expected, so it's an informal norm. A dress code is usually a formal norm. It's usually something that is written down. Picking your nose in public. It's not against the law, but it's definitely an informal norm. So what about prescriptive and proscriptive? What you should or shouldn't do. So prescriptive norms are rules about behavior that is appropriate or acceptable and that you are expected to do. If you start a conversation with you should, you probably should do it. So what's the prescriptive norm in this picture? This woman is obviously pregnant. So for someone who is pregnant or an elderly person, the prescriptive norm is to give them your chair. Rules about behavior that is inappropriate or unacceptable. You should not laugh or talk with food in your mouth. You probably should not text during graduation. Is this a proscriptive or a prescriptive norm? Level of importance. What's important and what is not so important? So social norms that are widely observed and determine what is considered morally acceptable or unacceptable. Sanctions for violating mores is far more severe than violating folkways. So for example, taboo against incest, cannibalism, adultery, or plagiarism, like in the Game of Thrones, or adultery, and of course plagiarism. Informal norms that are based on socially accepted behavior are folkways. Folkways often involve etiquette and manners. Informal sanctions, like expressions of disapproval with frowning, ignoring, belittling, shaming, laughing, ridiculing, shunning, holding the door for someone, is an informal norm. Putting your elbows on the table is not accepted. Talking on the phone during a movie. Then we have sanctions. So norms enforced through sanctions. We have formal norms, informal norms. If it's a formal norm, perhaps you get a medal or a diploma or more money. And if it's negative sanction, a demotion, fired, a ticket, jail sentence. Informal, you get smile, compliment, cheers, good job. And negative, you get frown, humiliation, belittling, ostracizing, shunning. So what is the norm? And what would be the sanction? Speed limit's 25 and your speed's 38. So type of norm, formal norm or informal norm? Well, it's a formal norm. Positive would be a salary bonus, medal or a diploma. In this case, it's negative sanctions. You're going to get a ticket. The next section will be Unit 3 Culture, Part 2.